In 2016, a man walked into his home expecting a normal day, only to discover his entire family was dead.
Columbus 911 was added to the
Somebody killed my came home, my family's dead. My wife, my son, my granddaughter's dead.
Most violent crimes have predictable motives: money, revenge, a love affair gone wrong. But not in this case. 3 innocent people were brutally bludgeoned to death: a grandmother, a teenager, and a child, all because someone wanted their shoes. Not drugs, not thousands of dollars, shoes. So how does a loving family get destroyed over something so meaningless? And how could the person responsible be someone they trusted, someone they'd welcomed into their home, taken on vacations, and treated like family? This is the story of the Short Family Massacre, and it's about to get worse than you think.
Whoever did this, might as well get them death.
Now, before we get to that horror, let me tell you about the Short family, because these weren't just names in a police report. This was a family that mattered. Gloria Short was 54 years old and known as everybody's mom. For nearly 2 decades, she'd worked as a medical clerk, but her real calling was taking care of people. She'd feed your friends without asking. She'd buy clothes for kids who needed them. If you walked into her house, you left with a full stomach and probably some life advice you didn't know you needed. Her daughter Shamika said Gloria treated everyone like family, a generosity that would ultimately cost her everything. Gloria's husband, Robert, was a nurse with 21 years of military service behind him. He worked the ICU night shift, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., caring for the sickest patients in the hospital. He was disciplined, dependable, a man who dedicated his entire adult life to helping others. Their son, Caleb, was 17. He wasn't the most outgoing kid. He preferred his Xbox to parties, and his friend group was small. But those who knew him said he was kind, thoughtful, the type of teenager who never caused trouble. He loved basketball, though he'd recently quit playing. Now, it's very important to remember that he was into sneakers, Jordans mostly, and had built up a collection he was proud of. He was a junior at Spencer High School with graduation just months away. He should have gone to prom. He should have walked across that stage. And then there was Gianna Lindsay. Everyone called her Gigi. She was 10 years old, Shamika's daughter and Gloria's granddaughter. According to her mother, Shamika, Gigi and Gloria were inseparable. They went everywhere together: shopping trips, movie nights, just sitting on the couch watching TV. The family lived on Bentley Drive in the Upatoy community just outside Columbus, a quiet suburban neighborhood where kids rode bikes in the street and neighbors waved from their driveways. It was safe. It was home. Until January 4th, 2016. Robert Short finished his ICU shift that Monday morning around 7:15. As he pulled into his driveway 25 minutes later, something felt wrong immediately. The garage door was wide open. Gloria's silver Volkswagen Beetle, always parked in the same spot, was gone. So was his GMC Envoy. Scattered across the garage floor were hunting arrows that belonged to him, knocked over like someone had been in a hurry. The attic door was hanging down, lights still on. And there, near the garage entrance, was a small spot of blood. Robert called out, but there was no answer. He stepped through the door leading from the garage into the house. That's when he saw Gloria, lying face down in the hallway, surrounded by blood. He checked her pulse. Nothing. Her skin was already cold. In the living room, he found Gigi lying face up. She wasn't moving. When he checked her pulse, there was nothing. By now, Robert was running through the house, screaming Caleb's name. He searched his son's bedroom, but it was empty. Then he ran to the master bedroom and found Caleb in the walk-in closet, his hands and feet bound with tape. No pulse. For several minutes, Robert just stood there, his brain unable to process what his eyes were seeing. His wife, his granddaughter, his son, all dead. When he finally made the call to 911, his hands were shaking so badly it took multiple attempts.
Columbus 911 was added to the
Please send someone, please. I want to kill my family.
Someone killed your family?
Somebody killed my came home, my family's dead. My wife, my son, my granddaughter's dead.
Hold on. Is it an apartment or a residence?
This is a resident.
Resident. What's your name?
My name is Robert Short. I checked that for a few notes, but they've been beaten.
Within minutes, patrol officers arrived. Corporal John Pappy, a former military serviceman who'd seen his share of violence, would later say this was one of the most horrific scenes he'd ever witnessed. All 3 victims had suffered blunt force trauma to the head. Gloria and Gigi had been wrapped in tape. Next to Gigi's body, investigators found a 20-pound dumbbell covered in blood. Caleb's body had small pieces of grass stuck to his socks. He'd been outside before being dragged back in. The scene looked like a burglary gone wrong. 2 vehicles stolen, the house ransacked. But as detectives would soon discover, this wasn't random at all. This was family. And just like in many cases where a father survives, suspicion immediately fell on him. He was taken away and questioned for hours, every second heavy with tension.
Mr. Short, I just need to be able to take some pictures of you real quick, sir. You mind? Can you stand for me? Are you able to stand? Can you hold your hands out for me? Just palm up.
Sir, I'm Detective Malone with the Columbus Police Department, for the Robert Assault Unit. Been assigned detective assigned to investigate this case, okay? I understand the circumstances, but you okay to talk to me now? Okay. I know it's a difficult time for you. I'm gonna just try to ask you a couple questions about, try to recap to me about what occurred from the time that you got home today. Could you please just walk me through tell me what occurred?
I was driving to the house and I saw the garage door up. The car was on. First I thought my wife had went to a house one, but then I saw my other car is in the driveway. It was gone.
What car is that?
2004 GMC Envoy.
What color is it?
It's green. We have been driving it for a while because the brakes are bad. And my wife been driving a Volkswagen Beetle, which was in the garage, and it was gone.
What year is that Volkswagen?
2014.
What color is it?
It's silver. The garage was open. The attic door was hanging down.
Mm-hmm.
The lights on in the attic. And I knew then something was wrong because my wife's haircut was outside and where the car was supposed to be parked, and I saw some blood, some arrows from the attic, bow arrows was laying there by the door.
Mm-hmm.
I know something was wrong, so because nobody opened the attic but me. And the door was open, the back door was open.
The back door was open?
It was open, yeah.
And when you say the back door, what door are you talking about?
When you go through the garage, the door goes to the kitchen.
The garage door?
Garage door.
Okay.
The garage door was open up, but the door to the house.
Okay.
Back door, the side door.
Okay. So it was wide open when you got there?
It was open, it was ajar. So I went in. My wife was laying in the hallway, face down. And stuff was scattered everywhere. And I checked the pulse, and no pulse.
Now, when you say you check the pulse, where do you check a pulse at?
Carotid.
Carotid order?
And I saw my granddaughter laying in the living room, face up, and I checked her pulse, and she was cold. And I started running through the house looking for my son, calling his name. He went in his room. So I ran back out into my room and found him in my bedroom closet, tied up.
Take your time.
I didn't check the house no further than I came back out and then went back in and checked him again.
So you say you came back out?
I came back out to my wife and then I went back and checked on him and I couldn't get him back up.
While Robert Short sat in that police interrogation room, forensic technicians were working around the clock to process the stolen vehicles. Using GPS tracking data from one of the cars, Investigators located both the Volkswagen Beetle and the GMC Envoy abandoned in Oakland Park, a neighborhood several miles from the Short residence. The vehicles were towed to the crime scene unit's processing bay. Technicians meticulously examined every surface, every fingerprint, every trace of evidence. Then they sprayed the interiors with luminol, a chemical that reacts with blood, causing it to glow an eerie blue under UV light. The results were chilling. Blood on the armrest, blood on the steering wheel, blood on the gear shift. Whoever drove these cars away from the crime scene had the victim's blood on their hands, literally. And inside the vehicles, boxes of shoes, Jordans, Nikes, high-end sneakers, still in their original packaging, stacked in the back seats like trophies. Investigators carefully cataloged each item, photographed the scene, and submitted DNA swabs for analysis. But they still had no suspects, no names, no leads pointing to who could have done this. That changed on January 7th, just 3 days after the murders. Columbus police received a call that would crack the case wide open. A woman, her voice shaking, said she thought her 19-year-old son might be involved in the theft of the vehicles. She'd seen the news, she'd heard her son's story, and the pieces didn't add up. Her son's name was Raheem Gibson.
So he said that he was with a friend. What's the friend's name?
All I know is
Wheater?
and Wheater and some other boy. I don't know the boy name.
Wheat, huh?
Wheater.
Wheater.
E-D-A.
And he said they went to the house and
I don't know what house. They came there with some stuff.
Where's the
And
stuff?
that boy came back driving the car, my child did.
okay.
Whatever they find in Oakland Park.
Detectives immediately brought Raheem in for questioning. When he walked into the interrogation room, you could see it written all over him. The fear, the guilt, the knowledge that his life was about to change forever. Detective Malone read him his Miranda rights. Raheem signed the waiver without hesitation. He agreed to talk, and what he said was absolutely chilling.
What about your friends? Who you normally hang out with?
This boy named Javarcia.
Javarcia, that's your closest friend? Is that his real name, or that's just what you call him?
That's her
The real name? Okay. Who's Weeda?
Javarcia.
Javarcia is Weeda. Okay, okay.
I said, what are we doing? He said, just be quiet and wait for him. And I was like, okay. Then when he came to the door, he snatched him, and I just...
Well, I mean, you say snatch. Just tell me, like, real simple terms. Did you see him put his hands on him?
No. I just guess he snatched him, because when I did see, when I heard it, then I came around the corner.
Okay, now is the front door closed when you come around the front?
Raheem explained that on January 3rd, his friend Javarce Tapley, who went by Weeda, had texted him to come hang out. Tapley was Caleb Short's cousin. The two had spent time together over the years, playing video games, going on family vacations. Caleb trusted him. That afternoon, Tapley told Raheem they were going to visit Caleb to see what he got for Christmas. On the way, they picked up another friend, 15-year-old Rufus Burks. When they arrived at the Short residence just after dark, Tapley told Raheem and Rufus to wait on the side of the house. He said Caleb wouldn't come outside if he saw 3 people.
And so when you say he's on the ground, who's on the ground?
Javarcia and Caleb.
Okay, are they fighting?
No, he was just holding him on the ground.
Okay, who's on top?
Javarcia.
Okay, so Javarcia is physically just holding down, or has he got his knees on him, or how would you describe it?
Got it. Holding his hands and
Okay.
Holding his hands behind him.
Okay, is he asking you to help him, or how does that work?
He asked me to help him. I said, no.
Mm-hmm.
And I just stood in the ditch and sat down.
Caleb was screaming, begging, asking his cousin why he was doing this. Tapley and Burks dragged him to the backyard, then into the house through Caleb's bedroom window. Raheem stayed outside, hiding in the bushes, refusing to go in. About 30 minutes later, Burks came out and told Raheem to get in the car. The Volkswagen Beetle was already loaded with boxes of shoes. Raheem got in the passenger seat. Burks drove. They met up with Tapley later, who was driving the stolen GMC Envoy. Raheem kept asking Tapley what he'd done inside the house, why he'd stayed so long. Tapley's answer was cold. Mind your business. The next day, when Raheem saw the news reports about the triple homicide, he realized the truth. His friend hadn't just robbed Caleb, he'd murdered him, along with his grandmother and a 10-year-old girl.
I mean, this had to be weighing down on you.
Yeah.
Because you know that wasn't right.
Because when I seen they say he killed a little girl, then I have a little girl.
Exactly.
Just made me sick to the stomach.
Okay.
You know, for like 10 years now.
Armed with Raheem's confession, investigators moved fast. They pulled phone records, recovered deleted text messages, and obtained DNA samples. The evidence was damning. Text messages showed Tapley had been in contact with Caleb the entire evening, coordinating their meeting. Tapley had deleted those messages from his phone. He thought they were gone forever. But forensic analysts recovered every word. Images from social media showed Tapley and Burks wearing stolen items, bragging online like they were trophies. And when detectives finally brought Tapley in for questioning, his story fell apart immediately.
Let me ask you this. We had some people down there talking to your grandmama. Is there any reason why they would tell us that you and Caleb were kind of like video game buddies?
We never had the same systems.
Well, I'm just asking because
No.
that's what they were telling us, which
Yeah.
made me kind of wonder. Because
No.
you were telling me y'all weren't that close and you don't really know much about him. So you don't play no games with him online or nothing
No,
like
sir.
that? I know Detective Malone here told you what he thought about it, and I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
But Tapley's grandmother had already told detectives the opposite. She said Tapley and Caleb played video games together all the time, that Tapley had stayed at the Short House multiple times, that Gloria had bought him clothes and treated him like family. When detectives asked Tapley for a DNA sample, he refused, so they got a warrant.
We have a search warrant today to obtain DNA, hair, and photographs of your body. We're going to photograph those and collect DNA from you, okay, in reference to the investigation. We previously spoke with you prior to this and requested, for you to provide the DNA, but you refused at that particular time. So in return, we obtained a search warrant, okay?
Yes, sir.
The results came back quickly. Tapley's DNA was all over the Short residence. His fingerprints were on surfaces throughout the home. The deleted text messages proved he'd lied about everything. On January 10, 2016, Javarse Tapley was arrested and charged with 3 counts of murder. But while sitting in jail awaiting trial, Tapley couldn't keep his mouth shut. His cellmate, disturbed by what he was hearing, sent a letter to police requesting to speak with detectives. What he told them was horrifying. According to the cellmate, Tapley openly bragged about the murders. He said, "I wish I could do it again. I'd kill them again." He threatened his cellmate. "I've killed 3 people. You don't think I'll kill you too?" And then Tapley revealed something even more chilling. The plan had been to kill Raheem Gibson as well, but they ran out of time. Let that sink in for a moment. Tapley had murdered his own cousin, his cousin's grandmother, and a 10-year-old girl, and his only regret? That he didn't get to kill the 4th person. Investigators believe the motive was pure jealousy. Tapley, who lived with his grandmother and had very little, was envious of what Caleb had. A stable home, a loving family, nice clothes, video games, and shoes, lots of shoes. So he devised a plan. He would lure Caleb outside, restrain him, and rob the house. But when Gloria and Gigi were home and awake, witnesses to what he'd done, Tapley made the decision to kill them all. He beat them to death with blunt objects, including that 20-pound dumbbell. The violence was extreme, brutal, and completely unnecessary. These were people who had welcomed him into their home, people who had trusted him, people who had treated him like family, and he killed them for shoes. In 2017, all 3 defendants faced justice. Javarse Tapley was the first to face sentencing. The evidence against him was overwhelming. DNA, fingerprints, deleted text messages, witness testimony, and his own jailhouse confessions. He knew he had no chance at trial. So, on the advice of his attorney, he pleaded guilty to 3 counts of malice murder. When the judge read the sentence, the courtroom fell silent. 3 life sentences without the possibility of parole. Consecutive, not concurrent. Meaning even if by some miracle one conviction was overturned, he'd still have 2 more life sentences waiting. Javarse Tapley will never walk free again. He will die in prison, just as he promised his cellmate, except now it's a guarantee. The judge made it clear during sentencing that this wasn't just murder. This was a betrayal of the worst kind. Tapley had been welcomed into the Short family's home. He'd eaten at their table. He'd slept in their house. He'd been treated like family, and he repaid that trust by brutally murdering 3 innocent people, including a 10-year-old child, for material possessions. Tapley showed no emotion as he was led out of the courtroom in shackles. Raheem Gibson's case was more complicated. Yes, he'd been at the scene. Yes, he'd helped load the stolen shoes into the car. But his cooperation with investigators had been crucial to solving the case. Without his testimony, detectives might never have known what really happened inside that house. Gibson pleaded guilty to 3 counts of malice murder, but because of his cooperation and because prosecutors believed he genuinely hadn't participated in the actual killings, he received a significantly reduced sentence of 30 years in prison. Some family members felt this was too lenient. Others understood that Gibson's testimony had helped bring Tapley and Burks to justice. It was a difficult decision, one that divided opinions even within the Short family. Rufus Burks chose to go to trial. He was the youngest of the 3 defendants, only 15 years old at the time of the murders. His defense attorney mounted an aggressive case, arguing that Burks had been manipulated by Tapley, that he'd left the scene with Gibson before the murders occurred, and that he shouldn't be held responsible for crimes committed after he was gone. The prosecution painted a different picture. They presented evidence showing Burks had helped restrain Caleb Short, that he'd participated in the robbery, that he'd driven one of the stolen vehicles away from the scene, blood still on the steering wheel. And most damning of all, they showed social media posts of Burks wearing and bragging about the stolen items. The jury deliberated for less than a day. Guilty, guilty on all counts. Burks was convicted of felony murder and kidnapping. The judge sentenced him to 2 concurrent life sentences plus 15 years. Because Burks was only 15 at the time of the murders, Georgia law prohibited sentencing him to life without parole. Instead, he'll serve a minimum of 30 years before becoming eligible for parole. When the verdict was read, Burks broke down. His family wept in the courtroom, but for the Short family sitting on the other side of the room, there was no satisfaction, no sense of relief, just the crushing weight of knowing that no sentence, no matter how severe, would ever bring back the people they loved. Sadly, this isn't the first time something like this has happened, where a family welcomed someone into their home only to be killed by them. Another case is the Ortiz family massacre. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.